Adriana from Moon Salute Massage and Energy Therapy in Strasbourg. I am a licensed massage therapist and Reiki practitioner. I practice something called Thai yoga massage, and I do some energy work. So I did a video not that long ago about tight calves. So it's for people who have just like chronically tight calves. They can't seem to get rid of them with stretching or whatever. So we're gonna try to figure out why. Why do you have tight calves? Because that's really how we're gonna fix the problem. So I did the other video, that was one of my reasons, one of my most common reasons that I see. It has to do with shoes, so if the heel of your shoe, if it has more cushion or more padding than the toe of your shoe, that can cause calf tightness pretty easily. But my other reason that I see all the time is a little bit more indirect, and it has a lot to do with sitting in chairs. So there's nothing wrong with sitting in chairs inherently, but if we spend 6, 8, 10, 12 hours sometimes a day sitting in chairs, then our body is going to adapt to that because that's the nature of our body. It adapts to what we expose it to. If we sit a lot, it's going to get really good at sitting, and it's going to become the most comfortable in that position. So let me show you what I mean. So basically, we start off with the idea that the psoas gets really tight when we sit. So that's a muscle that goes from basically the top of our femur, so the top of our leg bone, to our low back, so our lumbar spine. And so that muscle, when we sit in a chair, gets shortened. So you can kind of see if this is one end point, and this is another end point, the distance between my two fingers is greater when I'm standing than when I'm sitting. Again, this is fine unless we're sitting for hours and hours a day. When this happens, our bodies like equilibrium. So they like, for example, let me just show you here. They like my bicep here, it's the front of my arm, and my tricep, the back of my arm, to be approximately equal resting lengths. So if I were to do curls all day, or if I were to walk around like this, then my biceps would be tighter than my triceps because they're in a shortened position. This creates imbalance, and then the whole system is thrown off. Because ideally, when I contract my bicep, my tricep relaxes. When I contract my tricep, my bicep relaxes. So it's kind of that like system of balance. It's like pulleys. We want an equilibrium. We want those muscles to be a similar resting length. So when our psoas is tight, which is basically the front of our hip, then our glutes, which is basically the back of our hip, have to be loose compared to normal. They have to be looser than would be optimal. So how that shows up, since our glutes are the biggest muscle group, the strongest, the biggest engine in our body, they do the bulk of the work when we're walking. So ideally, I would take a step, and then my glutes would extend my hip out and push me off the ground. And that propels me forward into my next step, okay? But if the front of my hip, my psoas, is too tight to allow my glute to contract, because remember, if the glute contracts, the front of the hip or the psoas has to relax. But if it's stuck in sitting position, because that's what you spend the most time doing, then it can't. So what usually happens, what I usually see is instead of the glute being the driving force behind the step, people compensate, because that's what we do as humans. We find a way to do the things we need to do, even if it's not perfect. They'll use their calf. So their calf will be doing extra work. So that combined with, most people wear heel-lifted shoes and sit all day for work. So if you combine those two, of course you have tight calves. I'm not surprised at all, because not only are they in a shortened position from your shoes, they adapt to that position, and then their resting length is short, tight, but they're actually carrying more load than they're designed to. They're doing the glutes job. The glutes job is the hardest job there is. So when some other muscle group is taking that over, it can cause problems really easily. So that's my 2 top reasons. If you have any questions, definitely leave a comment. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Facebook, all that kind of stuff. There'll be information in the description box. And I hope you join me for future informative posts. All right. Have a good day, guys.